Hi, how are you doing? Hi guys, welcome to or welcome back to.
Hi guys, welcome to or welcome back to Journey Teachers. I am Kaavya, a student from Christ University studying in the triple major Communications, English and Psychology, and I'll be interviewing my classmate Kriti about her journey as an author and her experiences at Bangalore Book Fair for our department newsletter.
Thank you so much, Kaavya, for inviting me on my channel, and I'm glad to be interviewed by Miss Kaavya and not taking an interview today. So we have reversed our roles. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
I'm privileged to be here. Thank you. So just as a starting question, can you talk a little bit about your book?
Sure. So for you guys as well, I've brought my book as well. So Falling into the Sun is the first part of the fiction fantasy novel series I'm coming up with. It is basically the story of 3 astronauts who are all set up to visit the moon, but they end up falling into the sun. That's how the name comes from. And yes, they're all set up to witness the marvelous creations of the universe and the planets. Everything around the night rainbow, the sleeping sun, the universal war between the lovers of the earth, the planetary starry show. Everything will be possible here, and it's pure out of my imagination, and it's a very fun read.
That sounds so interesting, genuinely. So, is there any particular reason why you chose fantasy fiction as your debut genre?
Yeah, sure. So, it was not a conscious choice, but it was pure out of my interest because, I was always interested to go beyond Earth, what is available outside of Earth. When we look to space, so I was always interested in exploring space and its elements and building my fantasy and my imaginary world based on that. So that is the particular reason I chose fiction fantasy. And one thing I always like to say, and I've mentioned that quote in my book as well, I belong to the earth, but my dreams cross the horizon.
That's so beautiful. Okay, so when and how did you get the idea for this book?
Okay, so basically I started writing at the age of 16. So that's when I got the idea of my book. So basically I always used to think why not the astronauts of NASA or ISRO go to the sun. Instead they always send their astronauts to explore the moon or maybe the other planets. So the idea of life in the sun actually came. And I was really overwhelmed with the idea. I really wanted to build up a story around it. And till then I've explored my passion and my interest in writing. So I continued it. I did not think that I will eventually publish my work, but I just started out of nowhere and just wanted to give it a try.
And how long did this entire process take from idea conceptualization to finally publishing the book?
Okay, so basically I started, as I said, at the age of 16. So basically completed the first draft at 17, edited it multiple times, and completed the final draft at the age of 18. Started looking for and researching for publishers at the age of 19, and universe created a beautiful magic for me. I was able to publish my book on my birthday itself. So it was years all together. It was a very long journey. It took me 4 to 5 years to complete my book.
Interesting. And was this all on your own? Did you have other people's support? How did that work?
Definitely. I believe that one cannot do anything on one's own, right? So I always had my brother along with me. When I was writing, nobody knew that I was writing. It was only my brother who knew that I was working on something, and I used to discuss the ideas, whatever I observed from nature and whatever elements I wanted to add further in my book, I always used to discuss with him. So even when I completed my book, then I told my parents. In fact, we told our parents that we have came up with this book, and the book is ready, and we really want to publish it out. So he was always there to support me, but he was my inspiration, my encouragement, and I was super glad that my parents were also super supportive, and they in fact gave me some ideas that this can be included further. So it was really beautiful in that sense.
That's very nice. I'm glad that you had that kind of support. What was the experience of writing this book like? What inspired you? What was that whole process like?
Okay, so the experience was super memorable. It was hard for sure, but it was super memorable. I always used to draw my inspiration from the things around me, particularly nature, because I always used to consider sun and moon as my superheroes, and have talked a little more about them in the book as well. So you would get to know there. And one particular incident I would want to mention. One day one of my relatives asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? So I told her that I do not want to work on a laptop screen the whole day. So she asked me, would you work on a paper and a pen? I did not reply to her at that moment of time, but now I myself have realized the power of a pen, because I'm not a fancy writer. I write on loose sheets of paper. That gives me the feeling of actually writing, penning down my thoughts, and playing with words is always what I really enjoy doing. So that was my inspiration, and it kept me going.
So, okay, just out of curiosity, was the entire first draft actually handwritten for this book?
Yes, it was. The entire book was handwritten. In fact, the editing was done handwritten as well. And you would not believe that I manually sat in front of my computer to actually type it out, because eventually in practical, in real life world, we cannot publish the work we have handwritten. We have to use the, that writing, formal writing fonts in front of a laptop, which are available in form of a digital copy. But the first draft, which is very close to my heart, was handwritten for sure. And for the second book as well, I will be writing it on paper, and then we'll see what has to be done further.
That is some incredible dedication. I cannot imagine anyone doing that kind of work. So, was writing always on your to-do list, and now that you've written your first book, is it something that you'd consider doing full-time?
Okay, so writing was actually not on my to-do list for that matter, because my mother used to tell me, and I also remember to some extent, that I used to run to my family members, and particularly towards my aunt, to make my writing work done. Maybe it may be in English or may be in other languages. Literally, I did not do all of my writing work on my own. But I don't know when it happened that when there used to be storytelling classes in our school. So I wrote one story and narrated it in front of my classmates, and all of them really loved it. So, and my teacher also inspired me that you should do something in writing. I explored that doing writing one day, and that's how it started. It was a trigger point, and it just got started. I eventually upskilled myself, and here I am launching a book today with writing. So yeah.
So, but in future, is this something you'd consider doing full time?
Okay. So, I'm not sure about full-time, because I really don't like to make long-term plans. I believe in making short-term plans. So, I'm not sure about taking it a full-time thing or not. I will definitely, because writing is what I consider my passion, and I really enjoy doing it. So, I will be working on my novel series for sure, but whether it's full-time, part-time, that I'm not sure about.
Yeah, that is completely understandable.
Right.
So, while writing this book, did you have any particular roadblocks or challenges?
Of course, yes.
So, how did you overcome them?
Okay, so while writing, I had a lot of troubles, because it was my first time writing a book. And when I was writing, I did not think that it would turn out to be a book. I was writing a story. I was just build up my own imaginary world, building up the characters, the plot, and everything around it. So writing, it gives a lot of self-doubts and confusion inside you when you are penning down your thoughts. What will people actually think? Will they cherish or not? And it's always so safe to keep your work to yourself rather than giving it out to the people, and giving them the opportunity to make out flaws in that. So, but I really love my dedication that I actually overcame all of those aspects, and was dedicated enough to actually put it out in the world. So that was my biggest inspiration, and that was it actually. I did not think much, I just wanted to do it, so I just went ahead with it.
That's nice, that's very inspirational. So with Journey Teachers as well as with your whole writing process, what are some important lessons you've learned along the way that you'd like to share?
Okay, sure. So along with Journey Teachers as well, and with Falling Into the Sun coming into the place, so I would like to combine the lessons I tell. So basically, confidence is the first skill, and I have gained through a lot of practice while speaking and publishing a book, because I've gained a lot of recognition with what I believe in producing this. It's like a product, it's like a book baby which goes in into the market, and people give you a lot of recognition. My knowns also, they really reached out to me, and they were telling me how they got inspired and how proud and happy they were from my achievement. So I would like to suggest one thing, that do not wait for perfection, because perfection will eventually come. But what you do now is what you have now, and whatever best you can give for yourself, that really works.
Again, very inspirational, genuinely. So recently you went to the Bangalore Book Fair as an author. So what was that whole experience like?
Sure. So so I was invited by 99 Books Card for the Bangalore Book Fair, and it was a journey of its own. I have been to any book fair for once, it was the first time me visiting a book fair, and it was quite good actually, because there were a lot of people, there were a lot of books around me, in fact, that eventually made me happy. There were a lot of readers around me, which I really loved interacting with. People used to reach out to me, people were coming towards me, they were asking about my book, because I had a book set up there, and I was allowed to keep my books there, right? So people were approaching me, they were asking about my book, we were discussing various reading other books, and we were discussing a lot of things, and people were really happy. I loved interacting with them. There were other authors as well, there were many talented, inspirational other authors, and it gives you a fair opportunity of networking. Right. So it was a wonderful experience, and one of its own kind, and it was great actually. Right. And I would love to be part of more book fairs.
Right, that's great. I'm glad you had a fun time. So out of all the people you've interacted with so far, what are some experiences or people that stand up to you, your favorites in that sense?
Okay, so I have interacted with a lot of people online on Journey Teachers. So there's as such no favorite person to interact with, because everybody has their own journey. Right, everybody have their own stories, and which was inspirational and motivational for me, and see people watching in many other ways, right? So there wasn't any favorite person of me. And like we are doing as well, we are having a conversation, we are interacting. So you are one of my favorites as well, for that matter.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, so every journey gives you some hope, I would like to say. Every journey gives you some point of self-motivation that, grows the seed inside you to just do something, go out there. The power of reaching out has been immense, because I believe that some of the opportunities did not come to me by their own. I reached out, I had that kind of courage to actually go to the people, ask that I want to interview them, I want to have a conversation with them. So that's really worked for me.
Nice, that's very nice. So again, coming back to your book and the entire writing process, what were your favorites and least favorite parts? Did you have any particular things that you liked and didn't like about the process?
Okay, sure. So while writing, I really, as I mentioned, I really loved playing with words. While writing, I was observing things around me. I was more into, observing things, because I used to extract ideas with that. So I always used to go on my house terrace and observe the night sky, the morning sky, everything around, because major elements are derived from the space, from those elements of sun and moon, everything around that. So the process of observing things, and making them into a story, building characters around it, setting up all of those features, that was really enjoyable for me. I did not feel like that I was working on something. I did not feel like that I was doing a particular task, or it was a job for me, but it was really enjoyable and what I liked doing, for sure. And of course, COVID also gave me a lot of time to actually work on my thoughts, build up the story, and eventually that happened. So dislikes, I would say there are none, in fact, but whenever long breaks came, because whenever I wasn't in any mood to write, because a writer's block, or whatever you may call creative's block, that also is a prevalent fact. We as writers, and any popular writer for that matter as well, we cannot just let go of it. It comes and we sometimes cannot handle that. So but we always feel we have to get back at writing. So that is somewhat I really did not like when I was not writing, I would like to say. But yeah, I eventually get back at it, so that I really cherished.
Alright, Kriti, this has been a great interview and I've learned a lot from you in this experience. So as a concluding question, do you have any message out there who you'd like to give to budding authors, or just people who have dreams?
Sure. So people who have dreams, I have as well. Just work towards your dreams. Take baby steps. Take baby steps every day. Even if you are not able to do, a huge thing at one moment of time, just take small steps and you will eventually reach there. You know what my purpose of writing is? I really want to reach out to people's heart. I want to make a space, a place in their heart, and if my work eventually brings a smile on any of my readers' faces, my job is done. So that I would like to say, that just be constant. Enjoy the process of writing. Do not think about the end results, what will happen, what will people think, whether your book will come out like a masterpiece or not. So do not worry about all those factors. Just enjoy writing. Just write with all your heart and use your mind as well, of course. So just enjoy the process. If you love writing, if you love playing with words, you will eventually come out with a beautiful story. And if you're aspiring writers or budding writers, just don't aspire, just start working on it today. That's all that matters. Yeah.
Right, this was a great interview. Thank you so much for your time and all of the questions that you've answered. Genuinely, it was a very fun experience learning from you and just interacting with you. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaavya. It was equally wonderful for me as well, because I was actually looking forward for giving an author interview, because I love sharing my journey as well. I listen a lot on my channel to other people sharing journeys, and I share my journey individually, I record journeys individually for me. But you being there to listen to my journey, to witness my journey, it's a humble pleasure for me. Thank you for hosting this interview, taking out the time for me, and it was wonderful.
Thank you.
And I hope you guys learned something as well. You got little insights as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.